other cool stuff though, so please stick around.
But I see a lot of people asking about shields. So
yes, I
Peter,
know.
do you want to talk about that?
I want to talk about shields. This is why
Yes.
I have this laptop in my lap, actually.
All right.
Let's talk a little bit about shields, how they work. So the shields are releasing tomorrow, together with 1.8.2. They're going to be a big part of that. They're a special kind of, this we've said before, they're a special kind of accommodation. They have their own screen in the dossier tab, so you'll be able to see them. 4 of them are releasing tomorrow, and then there will be another one added every month. And they're going to push you towards various content in the game to complete various challenges and give you special rewards, as we said before, in the Division 1 and in the Division 2. But I thought I'd give you bit more detail that we haven't given you before. So some of the shields will be retroactive. You will log in and you will already have them because you've already accomplished that.
That's really cool.
Other things won't be retroactive, so you have to go out and do this. You might have done that content before, but now you have to do it again.
So it's similar to how the achievements first, like we had that thing with the achievements when those were implemented, right? Like
Yeah.
some were
Recommendations, yeah.
retroactive,
Some are
somewhere.
retroactive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Somewhere,
Yeah.
but it's actually.
Cool.
Yeah,
I have
that's-
nothing to add.
They are they're like fancy
Good.
versions of accommodation in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you unlock them one by one.
Yeah.
So the first 4 shields, and they're pretty good examples of what you might expect. Like the first one is definitely retroactive for 99.5% of you. It's unlock the base of operations. There you go. That's a good example of a retroactive shield. Boom, you have a shield when you log in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then for the other ones that are releasing tomorrow, we have Avenger, which is kill 10 named bosses in Manhattan, 10 in the Dark Zone, and 10 in West Side Piers. So you have to remember these are supposed to be challenges mostly geared towards veteran players to finally finish a lot of the content that they might not have finished, or go do it again.
Chat reaction is like, that's hard.
But they are meant to be hard. That's the thing as well. Shields are not meant to be super easy. Some of them are super easy.
I think that's a troll though, because
There's
killing
troll.
10 named
No,
that-
NPCs.
But the point is, like,
so hard.
if people haven't played in a while, they wouldn't have even gone to West Side Piers.
No.
So I mean, there's
that's
still something to do, right? Like,
But yeah, there's
true.
going to be harder ones,
Stop
right?
trolling me, chat. Be
Yeah.
nice to me. We've been streaming for a long time yesterday.
Yeah,
Crazy. I'm not awake yet. I've only had 3 cups of
I
coffee
think
today.
the idea is just that when the shields first come out, like we want a bunch of shields to be rather easy to reward people that basically reached endgame, that basically made it to endgame but didn't invest so much time into it. And then the other shields we're going to start releasing over time are going to be like more about actually really achieving things.
Yeah,
And
there's a bunch of them that will definitely have you playing the game a lot.
So
yeah.
So it's really like, if you're a hardcore player that 100% the game, you're gonna get all the shields, which mean more rewards for you when the Division 2 comes out. But we don't want to be leave out all the other ones from it. So what that means is that basically people that finish the game, they will have a few shields. People that actually invested a bit of time in the end game, they will probably have, I don't know, half of them or whatever. I have no idea. Don't quote me on that, but something like that. But then only the really hardcore players that really dedicated a lot of time will have all the shields and therefore all the rewards that come with it in Division 2.
Exactly.
Cool.
And just to finish up that list of what you will see tomorrow, we have Deadeye, which is complete all the weekly high-value targets in 1 week, and then Hazard, which is clearing 25 landmarks in the Dark Zone. So those are the first 4. And then there will be another 8 added as we move towards the launch of
can't wait to see how
Division
tricky
2.
they get. Because, that's
some of them
that's gonna
are
be cool.
pretty tricky.
Right.
So
Kiki the Gamer is asking for the bosses, the 10 bosses, is it just open world or do the ones in mission count?
open world.
It's just open world.
Yeah, it's open world bosses, both, 10 in Manhattan, 10 in the Dark Zone, and 10 in West Side Piers. With the shields are account-wide.
Yeah.
So you could potentially do 5 bosses on one character and 10 on another, etc. But there are direct rewards, like cash rewards that you get for completing a shield. That is only unlocked on the character that you complete that shield with. So what you get straight away are a couple of things. First of all, you get the vanity patch. Every shield has its own special icon.
Cool.
And those look really cool, actually. And you'll get them straight away in an art patch. So you can start wearing it to show off the world that you completed that patch. And you also get a special audio log that unlocks in the UI.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Again, 4 of them will be available when we complete first shields, and then there is 1 with every shield, and some of them are really cool.
Yeah.
Just saying, you'll
That's
want to get on
exciting.
that.
Cool.
We have Comrade and Currency are both asking, like, what happens if you miss a shield during the month? Can you still do it?
Right, that's important as well.
Yeah.
The shields are staying throughout the duration. There's no time limit on the shield, just when they're unlocking. So you can come back in 8 months' time and then do all the shields. So they're not going anywhere. They're not time limited in that way. So they will always be available. I've seen, some people have already been asking about that before, like how is that going to work? But once they unlock, they stay available.
Yeah.
So you won't have to feel that kind of time pressure to finish them. But yeah, so you get the vanity patch, you get the audio log.
What happened?
Yannick is giggling,
What?
which is always
What
I'm
are you
always
doing?
scary because he's
I'm
looking
reading
at chat right
and
now.
I'm laughing with chat. No, they're just they're trolling Hamish for your reactions.
Well, yeah. I
They're
mean,
like, oh, fake
no,
surprise.
Okay,
and everything.
this isn't fake
Hamish
surprise.
literally has no idea about.
I
shields.
haven't been super close to the division as of late in terms of the content. So that's legit. Like I mean, you guys can back that up. People might not believe you, but I didn't know
we
that.
can back that up. Please
I
believe
honestly
us.
didn't
Oh,
know the
he's lying.
audio logs.
He's lying. Yeah, he's lying.
It's just all
Wow.
fake excitement.
He's got
Wow.
we got the script. Everything
not
we're saying.
smart enough to
Everything
fake
we're
excitement.
saying is
We can
scripted.
show you the script, and it says like at 2:25 Hamish surprise.
Ooh.
Oh,
We rehearsed
Whoa.
it yesterday.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
were
doing
much
good. You're doing good.
You were better at rehearsals. You
Yeah,
were
you
more
were a bit better.
Oh, yeah.
You should-
Sorry,
you should be more
I'll warm into it.
To also, when you unlock that shield on the character, you get shield cash, which has an exotic in it, 2 classified gear set pieces, 2,000 Phoenix credit, 500 D-Tech, and 3 cipher keys. So you're well rewarded straight away as well
Cool.
in the division. So the way it works
We
is
have
that
1
there.
minute, by the way. We got 1 minute.
1 minute. So there are shields are divided up into tiers. There are 4 tiers. There's a set amount of shields in each. If you complete these 4, you will have the first 4 tiers done, and then there will be 2 more tiers. So what they unlock in the Division 2, and I know this is what a lot of people want to know. So for the first tier, which would basically be unlocked if you got the Boo unlocked,
Yeah.
is a special, unique weapon skin in the Division 2. We have an outfit and a vanity patch for tier 2. For tier 3, you get an emote and a backpack dye, which is a new thing
Yeah.
in the Division 2. So you'll be able to dye your backpack in a unique color. And then for the tier 4, and this is something really cool in the Division 2, which we're finally able to talk about as well, is what is called a trophy. So there's something hanging. People have been spotting those.
Yeah, you
I've
can
seen a
spot
lot of
it in
pictures.
a-
on
in a
So you
video
guys
on
already
Twitter.
started
In
a
the gameplay.
cosplay?
Oh, yeah.
He already has the backpack and he already has a
That's
teddy bear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
So it's basically the idea is that if you get all the shields, you start the Division 2 with a full complete outfit with emote, with trophy, with everything of a seasoned agent.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly.
That's
So
like
you get that special trophy, and that's only available.
you'll get to
through
directly start
through
the game
shields.
saying, I was here. I was here for the first one and I did everything there was to do.
Yeah.
Badass.
So that's basically shields.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really cool once they start unlocking, and I can't wait for those audio logs.
Me either.
You
And
should.
again, I'm
Yeah,
not
the
like
audio
You should.
feigning surprise.
awesome.
I had literally no idea.
No.
That was the thing.
So that's happening. So that's shields.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now?
The civilians.
I don't know if you heard me. I'm the moderator. And I first no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So civilians are super important. One conceptual thing when we started thinking about the sequel was our responsibility as creators, when we create a dystopian world, is to inject a little bit of hope. There is a better tomorrow down the line. This is not completely hopeless. And that better tomorrow lies in civilians and civilians being able to rebuild. And the Division, as relating to a conversation we just had, as modern day superheroes. They're not wearing the cape, but this is my conception of if we have a superhero for the 21st century, it should be a civilian who's dedicated to protect and to rebuild.
100%.
So the civilians, incredibly important. They're in settlements, they're in communities, they're out in the wild. They need resources, they need protection, they need medicine, water, filtration, and every activity that you do, every main mission, side mission, will contribute to building up their security, to securing a better future. And the factions, they're just there to take everything away from that. So it builds this sort of tension there.
Is that something you get to toy around with then as you direct the gameplay?
Yeah, I mean so the enemy factions, of course, there's more than one of them, right? There are several enemy factions in the game world, and the civilians, everything you're doing in the open world when you collide with these groups is something we're running dynamically. So there are actually these needs and resources and goals that they have that Julian's talking about, that those are stimulated as well. So we get a lot of life and variety and ultimately surprise in the game for you as a player, which is something we're super excited about as gamers as well. When we play back home, that's like, whoa, shit, what's around the next corner? That type of experience. So I think also the civilians this time around, they're more than victims, right? So you helping them helps you, and they also take part in even combat, right? If you once again, awesome. If you play the demo, if you saw the demo, they get in and join the fight, and you call them in when it's
that's cool. It's more dynamic, right? I feel like before civilians were limited to, I need a candy bar. Here you go. Oh, here's a hat. Thank you. Like, and I always like the hat. Don't get me wrong, but you know. Speaking of that too, the hat. You talk about the agents being the modern day superhero, right? I think that's one of the reasons I connected so much with the original game was the idea of that opening cinematic, right, where the dollar flu's happening, everything's going on, and you see everybody's watches start lighting up. Obviously, I formed a bond with the agent I was building. I put so many hours into her. Is she gone now? Is she still in New York? Is this my character, or is it? How's this work?
It's a brand new character because we wanted people to have that progression journey again.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a brand new character. Doesn't mean you can't name her, and she can't look very similar to what she looked like in
This is her twin sister who lived in DC.
Absolutely.
Got it. All right.
But there's a huge amount more that we want to do with characters, because New York, talking about the hat, it's winter, it's cold.
Yeah.
Your agent pretty much needs a big jacket and a woolly hat. It's summer, it's Washington, D.C., lots of new looks, including shorts.
See, it was a tease the whole time, everybody. You're like, why is he wearing shorts on a stage? To promote the game. Look at him. What's going to be what you keep doing in this game and what keeps bringing you back? And you, of course, announce the raids, you do all these different things. What is the end game this time around? And do you think, because I do think, so you just should agree with me here, do you think that this is a very much a reaction to everything you learned from the original game?
Yes. In many, many ways, yes.
Perfect.
That was it.
Great panel, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. No, but we started day one thinking about how do the end game we want to create and the end game that our community wants to play, and all the learnings from the Division 1 and it being live, right? And it's really a combination of, in many ways, playing through the Division 2. The more you play, the more there is to do, because you get more powerful, you get more broad in your capabilities, your toolbox as an agent and a player, and you unlock more and more activities, and the world is there dynamically. It's never consumed, right? And it reacts and changes with a little surprise. We're not talking about at the end game. So we have that side of things. Of course, we also add a number of new things to that, not least for you personally, like or more player character-centric specializations.
Oh yeah.
Right? Which is, it's not a class. You're not locking yourself into a permanent choice or a role forever. It's coming to end game. You built yourself up, and on top of that, we say, hey, how do you really want to jump into a playstyle even further? Starting with a signature weapon, and then having actual progression and unlock throughout.
So that's the thing, right? From what I gather from these specializations you guys were talking about and showing is, I hit Endgame. All right, cool. Here's where I'm going to really sink in hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And I pick one that I'm then leveling up on its own. It's a new tree, a new level system to go for?
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you want to, you can invest in that, stick with that forever, but you can also max out the other ones and give yourself.
Oh, you can switch specializations as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So it's not mutually exclusive. It's a very flexible system too.
Okay. So this is what we're talking about right now as we see the grenade launcher, and this is the specialization trailer we saw. Right. Sniper rifle, you pick the weapon and then move into where you want to take that specialization.
Exactly, and then you'll get more goodies to unlock. And then, of course, it's all about, the ticking heart of the Division is the gear game, and we did a lot of refinements to the RPG and the combat shooting mechanics and the harmony between the two, right? And finding new fun synergies, fun tough choices within your old build, but also how you synergize between other players.
Yeah.
And Specializations there is a great new addition, we think, to both for yourself playing alone, but also playing with others. Not least in the raid, right, that we talked about. We're doing 8-man raid as the kind of ultimate endgame challenge and an experience.
Is that directly from audience feedback from what you got from the original game?
Yes, but it's also because pretty much everybody on the team are gamers, and we love games, and we love the Division, and we're hardcore gamers. I'm not, but Jesus.
I've never picked up a controller. I don't know what you're talking about.
I haven't platinumed the Division.
You sicken me.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
You have the nerve to come up here, wear these shorts. Boo this man, ladies and gentlemen.
Boo!
No, he's the one guy who doesn't understand the difference.
But my point there being that when we went into the Division 2, it was very much endgame focused.
Yeah.
But endgame doesn't necessarily mean hardcore.
Oh, sure.
So, you know, the raid is the pinnacle, the ultimate achievement in endgame. But a lot of more casual players, they're going to start playing, they're going to finish the campaign, they're going to play a lot of activities in endgame, max out their specializations maybe, but maybe then they need a little push to get into the raid. We have clan support.
Oh, okay.
And
You can cheer that, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think clan support...
The 20% guy again, he literally did this.
And that clan support is super precious for people like me who don't play at the same time as my friends and don't have too many friends. So, you know.
Well, you can nerd out. Frederick has been wanting to talk, but just open the inventory screen and talk about that.
That's how I play the game. That's how everybody plays the Division.
No, like no socializing though.
No socializing.
Like, how's the show?
Oh, you? No. Well, I mean,
don't you care about my feelings?
Yeah,
I care about your feelings.
How is the show, Terry?
It's great.
Is it great?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. How's your E-through been, Terry? How
Wonderful.
many interviews have you done?
Yeah, a number.
A number of interviews.
Yeah, it's been an honor.
Anything between like 50 and 100 to 150.
It's an honor.
It's an honor.
Yeah, it's for honor.
Oh, snap!
That was
not our game, but
not our game.
It's okay. Anyway, we should probably get to business.
Yeah. Let's get to the gameplay straight away before this devolves into a crunch fest of epic proportions.
So we're looking at the same demo that I guess everybody's been looking at now for this whole
for a couple of times. Loving it. But we're actually not going to leave this time. We thought I'm just going to
stay out here. We'll stay out here in this dirty reflective pool.
Yeah, where's the football? There's the football.
What I figured, yeah,
it's a soccer ball.
No, it's called a football.
No, it's called a football.
It's called a soccer ball.
All right.
So what I figured we'd do is look at gear, right?
Let's look at gear. Let's open up our inventory screens.
Let's crack them open
and have a look. First of all, at the
inventory
top
screen do we have on stream right now?
Oh, mine.
It's me, baby. Good. Let's do that. I'll chaperone. If you pull the thing that you never get to see in the other people's captures, like if you pull the right trigger down, you're going to see details. Details. That's what we want to be talking about today, right? So
steady nerves.
So we. What?
Oh,
that's me. Okay, cool. Here we go.
I think
so. This is a new menu, right? Like the menu layout is new, and how you handle your inventory is new, and you see some new slots as well. So you have all of your regular old slots. You have your 2 main weapons, your sidearm, your 6 main slots. They're not changing, but we also have some new slots that weren't there before. That kind of, because this is an in-game character and we have specializations on these guys, they also gain another slot for a signature weapon that goes above and beyond what the game already is.
Right.
And also the signature, specialization can grant you different grenades. So the grenade wheel is gone. You have one grenade type, and that's what. If you pick it up for your specialization, you can have a special one, or you can have your regular default one if you want to. So
as a sharpshooter, I have a different grenade.
Right. Yeah. So as a sharpshooter, you actually right now have a flashbang.
Yeah.
As a demolitionist, I have an incendiary grenade.
As you should.
I mean, it's all about that fantasy of setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just quickly, if people are new to the stream or have missed anything of the coverage so far, can we just recap what specializations are real quick?
Right. So you play our game, you play through it from 1 to 30, you gain all of this gear, then you slowly start to see like cool RPG stuff on gear, and then you hit 30, And at 30, this whole new feature unlocks, right, which is specializations. And specializations will grant you more things and more ways to progress above and beyond the 1 to 30 progression. Right?
Absolutely, an end game progression, and it's going to emphasize how you've been playing all along, you know.
Right.
And they're not mutually exclusive too. I want to make sure
It's a
people
deep dive, yeah.
they don't confuse these with classes. You're not
no.
leveling to level 30 and then locking yourself into anything.
You can switch.
You can switch, absolutely.
And progression is retained in each specialization
Yeah.
as you switch them around. And
So that way, in the activities that you do with your group, because you know, as
Yeah.
you know, you can
Do
play
we?
solo or up to 4-player co-op and 8-man raids.
8-man raids,
Right.
is that right?
That's
Can
true,
say-
baby. So you can swap
Yeah.
around these signature weapons, these specializations, to optimize your co-op group.
But it gives you a little way of talking about who you are as a character. Like, okay, I play Demolitionist with this build, and then
Yeah.
you talk about your build and your gear and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's like a two-layered thing, right?
And that means that my demolitionist can be different than
Oh,
your
totally.
demolitionist.
Like you can go around being like close CQB with like shotguns and things like that, whereas I could be a sniper demolitionist
Yeah.
for all that matters. So like you will have a role,
Yep.
but you can still have the whole gear game just as before, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And specialization will grant you some other things as well. Like they'll grant you some new unique skill mods that might be unique to those specializations. Maybe some new talents, maybe some new stat bonuses, things like that, right?
There's so many wonderful details in the sentence that you just said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody will dissect what we just
I
said?
hope so.
Maybe.
Come on.
But going from 1 to 30 and not even looking at what the specializations give you is the gear, right?
Right.
Like you have 2 primary weapons in our game. You swap between them. And then you have 6 slots. You have a chest piece, you have a mask, you have gloves, knee pads, backpack, holster. Just as before.
As a fan of the game, I'm just going to just totally interrupt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go.
Looking at the weapons,
Mm.
I love the damage drop-off graph.
Oh, it's so
the,
good.
the drop-off
It's
graph, yeah.
so
So
good.
like,
Yes.
actually, let's just go in here and
Let's nerd out about that a
do
little
a
bit.
comparison thing here. Like you can see, this is a shorter drop-off, but
Yeah.
it's also the far range you see there, so it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Just the visual, just to be able to see it visually.
Actually,
I'm a-
speaking of visual, I'm just going to do this then.
Oh snap!
Just
Yeah,
bring this up.
I just got the question from Senor Camaro in chat. What happened to mods?
Well,
Oh.
this
They're obviously
happened
there
to
now.
mods. Like,
Look
hey,
at that.
hey out there, this is mods. so,
Hey, TV.
so the thing about mods in the last game is we like them and we like modding our guns
Yeah.
and we like looking at these things, but one of the problems was that you quickly got into this like best in slot situation in the end of the game. So and also, not to be that guy, but inventory management got a little bit hectic at the end game
I
with
think
all
I
of
currently
the mods.
have 90 mods
There
in my
you go.
inventory that I haven't gotten rid of yet.
So
Because I don't know how to
Yeah.
do that in a good way.
So
you know,
what we've done
comparing
instead,
all this stuff.
we swapped it over so you unlock mods. Once you've unlocked this MK5 scope, it's there. Like you have it, you can use it on everything. It doesn't take up inventory space. You get it through other means of progression. It's not going to be a loot drop. So there you go.
But if I have that NK5 scope unlocked
Mhm.
and I put it on my shotgun,
Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
you're free to do.
yeah,
but
sure, right. Does that mean I can't put it on any other gun?
No. Any
Okay.
unlock, just use it everywhere.
Just use it everywhere. It's just
Which means
saying,
also
you have
none of
earned
that
this.
like swap your mods over from one gun to the other
Cool.
Right.
stuff from the
Right.
last game.
I don't have to have all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
damage. You just unlock it and it's there.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what are they for if they're not in different levels and different quality types and stuff? Well, they're mods. They modify your gun as to how you want to play rather than act sort of like enhancements or like gems, I guess maybe. So
I'm seeing plus minuses there.
you're seeing plus minuses
Yeah.
there. So they come with like pros and cons,
yeah,
right?
can we put that on the screen so people
Yeah.
can see it?
Flip it
Yeah.
over to the
Yeah. Flip it over.
oh
Flip it over.
production.
There we go.
That's
Oh,
not
wrong
wrong.
one. You can
wrong
do
one.
that too. You can do
Okay,
you can
yeah,
go in
let's
there.
see, mods,
Press X.
and
You got that scope on there. So it's a big ass scope, right? So you
Yeah.
have a lot of headshot damage that comes from having this scope, but your reload speed's going to suffer because it's making the handling of the gun worse. And that's what
Right.
we try to do. Like we try to make them make sense as well, where like something that will give you a compensator might give you good stability, but accuracy will be off a little bit because the bullets are slowed down and might wobble,
I love this new angle.
To follow up on that, again, kind of tie it into this, Mudkip is asking, are there gear mods?
Are there gear mods? I don't think we brought gear mods in to show today. So we'll talk about those at another time. I think the one
But
thing
the
that
an-
you can
so
see
the-
here is a skin slot, though,
Yeah.
on gear.
Skin slot on
Right.
gear.
But
Gear
so the
can
but
be
the
skinned
ans-
and painted.
so the answer, which is one of the rewards from the shields, get a
There you go.
backpack die.
Snap.
Boom.
You just dropped the shields program.
Well,
No.
we did earlier.
Nice.
We
Okay,
just
cool.
dropped
No,
everything.
so
we just dropped everything.
We'll
Uh,
talk
but
about
the- so
we'll
the
talk about
answer-
gear mods at a later time. We're still really, actually, to be honest, investigating exactly what we want them to be and like how they fit in.
Yep.
We have the possibility to do them,
Yep.
but
So the answer is probably.
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 So yeah,
Under
that's it.
development.
Yeah. Because we're making the game.
Yeah, we're making
yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not making the
Like,
game.
next March, it'll be in everybody's hands. But until then, we get to do some more shit to it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Did you say a bad word?
Oh shit. Oh. Well, anyway, so I think that's about it for mods. I think people get the idea of you don't have to slap all of the best in slot mods on a gun. You put the mods on a gun that you feel you want for its handling and its purpose, and it'll come with some pros, some cons, kind of change the way the game plays rather than just progress it, right?
Right.
And that also leaves more power to be put on the gear,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Yeah. And speaking of the gear, can you tell? Let's talk about brands.
Yeah.
Can we talk about brands?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
people have
even
been
here in the
asking
grid,
a lot about
yeah,
that.
so even
yeah.
here in the grid, you'll see like little watermarks or logos next to each little piece here,
Yeah.
right? And they're logos for brands. So every piece of gear, it has a manufacturer that makes them. So I guess what we're watching here is something from the Petrov Defense Group. So the Petrov Defense Group, they have a brand, they have a logo, they have a sort of propensity to roll certain stats on there. So it's like still random gear, it's still random rolls, but they tend to roll certain styles of stats and certain styles of talent.
And that should emphasize a certain play style.
Yeah, and together with brand sets that we'll talk about in a second, that means you and I can talk about our builds. Like
Yeah.
you can go through your build and say, hey, I'm like three-piece Petrov and two-piece Providence. And that
Right.
means something to someone because that will tell them a little bit about how you play and
Like,
what
okay, you're kind of a defensive
yeah,
guy.
yeah. So
You know.
so that gives us a nomenclature, a way to talk about builds
Right.
and gear that isn't like just this much DPS, this much stamina, this much electronics.
Yeah.
And then that's really valuable because it's not removing any of the depth to builds, but it's giving us the tools to talk about them and think about them in an easier way, right?
Yeah. You don't
I saw-
necessarily have to drive towards completing the brand sets either.
No,
Right.
because the thing about the brand sets is, I don't know if that's really apparent here, but they have little bonuses. Like
Yeah.
if you wear multiple pieces of these, you'll get bonuses. In this case, we have like some little LMG damage, some turret skill power, snap, and some skill haste.
I don't think you're on screen. It's me.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
okay. But anyway, the point being, they start at one piece. So even if you just wear one piece,
You get a little something.
you get a little something, and they're all of equal power. So you can wear 6 different brands, or you can wear 3 of one and 3 of the other. It won't matter for min-maxing. It just matters for how you want to play, like what build you want to make. So
Right.
there's no like recipe where everybody has to go 3 of this and 3 of this. It's a pretty open system, but it does mean that we can talk about gear. We have a predictable way of like seeing a piece drop. You
Yeah.
see that little icon from that brand, and you go, "Ooh, that's the brand I'm looking for."
Yeah. I heard that brand was
How-
good, or I want
Yeah.
that one.
we got that question in chat, and I heard it before as well. So, looking at the bonuses and all that, firearms, stamina, electronics, is that still a thing, or
No.
it's all down to?
So if you think about electronics, right? Electronics gave skill power. So you had to understand that conversion. But it didn't really do anything in and of itself. So the point being, instead we give skill power.
Right.
And instead to give each piece like a baseline, it has this brand set, right? Like, oh, it's from this brand, so it gives me these things. And it actually ends up being much more varied because every piece has electronics, firearms, and stamina in the first game, whereas here, every Sokolov concern brand has these stat bonuses, but another piece might have some other bonuses, right? So
Right.
it gives a much wider breadth to the gear game. So I'm really happy with the way that works. It makes it approachable, but still so flexible and so deep. Which our goal is totally to keep the depth and the
It's already playing so well.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so much
it
more
works
time to work on it, and it's already playing well, which is it's just fantastic.
I'm going to guess that we can't really answer this question, but let's ask it anyway. You guys can say, we'll talk about that later. Now I lost it.
Yes, I like peppermint.
Dr. Sick Pickles asking, how many different brands will there be?
Good question.
A bunch.
I'll ask the question.
A bunch?
A bunch.
A bunch.
it's
A
like-
bunch. That's a good
Then
number.
How
A
many
bunch is a
bananas
good
are in a
number.
bunch?
Yeah.
A bunch.
Yeah.
But I
A
mean,
whole bunch.
the thing about brands as well is that if we added another high-end piece to Division 1 in a patch or like a drop, it wouldn't really matter. But if we add a new brand, that's a big deal.
That's
so
a big deal.
it gives us this platform to do more things in the future as well.
Yep.
I want
And
to talk a little bit also about talents. Because
Okay.
talents matter to people who are into the division, right? So
Yeah.
you're into the division?
I am.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
played
Cool.
it some
Good.
time.
Yeah. You find. I think because we're all in purples here.
Yeah.
So superior gear. If you find one of the pieces that has a talent on it, so
Precise.
here, so you have a common talent here. So we got like common talents. They're simple talents that might give you a little stat boost of some type. They're sort of like a lumped up little stat boost, and that's cool because they have a name and they have an icon, and they kind of also let you talk about gear in a way. But then you have advanced talents. We're gonna clip over to my.
Oh.
It doesn't matter,
Okay.
either or. So this is more of an advanced talent. So hit and run, melee kills grant you a speed boost for 2 seconds.
Right.
So that has like a condition for it to happen, etc. It's a little bit more advanced, but it also has a requirement.
I
For
see
this
that.
one, you have to have under a certain amount of armor for this to be true because it's like a heavy. If you're way down, this is not going to actually be active.
Right.
So that's the new thing, and we can cut over to Terry's screen. You can describe the one that you have here on your mask.
Yeah, steady nerves, right. Destroying armor or weak points grant 50% weapon stability for 4 seconds. However, full auto weapons equipped. Right.
So it's actually not active for you because you
Yeah.
have a vector.
Yeah, that's right.
But so not all of those requirements are like restrictions like that. Some of them are like, have over 40% crit chance or something like that, right? So it's still you can still like achieve something rather than stay under something. They're not all like that. But by doing this, by writing it like this instead of the old ones, we can have thematically understandable and relatable requirements to things.
The depth of choice already seems so much greater than what we had previously.
But something will drop. You'll read this and you'll go, "Ooh, I want that. What do I have to do to achieve that? Oh, I have to have like this stat or like equip myself like this."
Yeah.
And that starts you thinking about a build, right?
Yeah.
And then you piece all of these together, and that creates a whole build, right?
Yep.
So I'm pretty pleased with the changes. They're pretty radical if you're into Division 1. Like, there's a lot that's changed, but it's working out.
Yeah,
I really like
when
it.
we say we refine the RPG, it's definitely true, and it's already working much better, I think. Yeah.
So
What
let's
else
have
better?
let's have a look at our guns as well, because we didn't look at the talents on the guns, right?
No, we
They're
did
similar.
not.
They work similarly. So yeah, we look at the kill confirmed here.
Headshot kills grant 10% damage, stacks up to 10 times. All non-headshots reset the bonus, and it requires that you have to have over 140% headshot damage.
So did you remove the scope from this gun?
I did not.
So if you go out and aim, or if you remove the scope with this gun, just put any old mod on there.
I'm just going to strip it.
Sure. If you aim down sights with this thing, you see the side of your gun there?
Yeah.
That's that
tracking.
talent. That's that talent with a little augmented reality tracker stacking up those
Right.
stacks for
So I
that talent.
So I can see that in real
Yeah, yeah.
time. That's awesome.
So all of the pinnacle talents have those little things that track them,
Look at those casings eject.
and it means that you can really care about them when they happen, right?
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. I like the reflection and the realization of it. Game of the year.
Game of the year.
Game of the
Saying
year.
it.
We're done.
Just saying it.
One question that I've seen a
Yeah.
couple of times as
questions.
well.
I
Actually,
think questions would be good. now.
and it's not related to that. Really that, but inventory size is one thing that keeps coming up
So
because in this build it's 30.
'Kay.
So I just want to.
I think. What do you think, Terry? Should we be fully honest?
I think honesty would be
Yeah, so-
appreciated, yeah.
Anybody will know that a lot of the inventory space came from perks from your progression in the last game.
Yeah.
Those aren't active in this build.
Right.
So your inventory space will match or exceed maybe, I don't know, what we had last time. We're not going to have a problem with inventory space. We're not going to go down to 30, which everybody's seen here.
Yeah.
It just happens to be what we needed to do these kits for this demo. So
The-
it's
the
okay.
show, it's
Calm
going to be
down.
more. You
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
have more.
absolutely,
You're going to have more.
absolutely. We're not going to be stingy.
Hey, girl. What other
Any other-
questions coming
yeah?
from chat?
Please show the perk active on the other gun. Not
Which-
sure which gun.
I mean, pull out the vector. No, I'll click on over to my screen, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, you have many guns. Yeah. Okay. Here. Well, here's. Well, this one is actually a. This shotgun is like kills while close, so very close, like up in your face. They double the next shot damage. So might be a little, might be very powerful, but they require to be super, super close. So this little icon here, you're gonna see this light up with the. You're gonna see that light up with the talent icon if you've managed to proc that thing.
Getting the question here: are the perks randomized?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We still random drop. We still randomize stats and talents just like we did in the last game. There will be weapon category specific talents like that only drop on maybe marksman rifles or something like that if they're only appropriate for marksman rifles.
Right.
But yeah, for sure. And these are only purple guns, so these only have one talent as well. We're going to work on what high ends and everything we'll have in the end.
Right.
The Big Daddy weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting a question here from Chris. What about consumables?
Does that count?
What about
gear?
something you wanna-
consumables?
Is that a deep dive for gear? Does that count?
It's a question that I think is
question.
fair.
I don't know if we can discuss consumables at this point.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get some questions.
Yeah,
out there.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
just
it's
look
fine.
at me
It's fine.
and say, shake your head and
Yeah.
say, no,
Yeah.
no, we're not going there.
Safe to say that we're basically looking at every aspect of the game, so there will be things that happen to that aspect of the game as well.
Yeah, I think maybe that will be the same for the next question from KCG Twitch. Any recalibration or optimization stations?
What do you say, Terry?
I don't think we can talk about that either.
There we go.
It's not because we don't want to talk about them. We just this is stuff we brought. This is what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As obviously as developers and intense fans of the game, we have a pretty big list of all the things that we know players want, and we just can't talk about all the things yet. Yeah, I'm sure you'll understand.
Some of them have been in develop. Honestly, some of them we're just still
Absolutely.
finalizing and figuring out. So.
We don't want to tell you something that then will change, you know, later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You don't want to make promises and break promises, right? That's just rude. Right? That's just rude.
Any other questions?
Are all the weapons from the Division 1 and Division 2, like LVOA? Somebody was asking about the house earlier, which...
Whoa!
So all of the regular weapons are brought over to this, but we have remade weapon handling from scratch for this game. I think anybody who's played the game can attest to that they feel different. But all of the weapon models that you know and love, in fact, everything that we see here today are things that we had in the first game because whatever new stuff's coming in is not quite ready yet. So
I'm seeing a lot of questions actually called out by Neymar right now about healing skills, and that's one of the things that they're not in the build. We're not going to talk about them right now. So yeah, not going to answer that question today.
No, but I think also looking at the new armor system and the armor repair kits, I think everybody recognizes that we have a different approach to how quickly or how easily you can regain health / armor. So look forward to conversations about that in the future.
Yeah, the healing works a little bit differently when you're in cover and charging up your armor bar.
I just love looking at all these mods.
Yeah, I think the new camera angles for
So
the mods
beautiful.
are really great, actually.
I mean, half the time I just
Kudos
spend
to-
looking at the model.
Yeah. Kudos to Rasmus and the UI team
Yes.
for putting this together.
Yes, it's beautiful. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm supposed to be looking at these numbers. I'm too
Oh yeah,
busy.
but others will look at the numbers. You can look at the
I'll look
the
at the
models.
pretty.
Yeah.
And then someone else can, tell me what numbers I'm doing wrong.
Anything else going on? I mean,
There's
obviously, one
so
of the
many
things that
questions right now.
one of the things that was popularly discussed yesterday with some of the fans was extended mags. So
Yeah, let's talk about extended mag. I wasn't
you
sure if
flip
we could
over
talk
to my
about that.
screen for a moment, or if you go, yeah. So
No, just you go ahead. Oh, it's
an
on you. Yeah.
this model of extended mag, if you look at it in real life, is going to give you 20 extra rounds. So that's what it gives you.
For
So
really reals.
yeah, so extended mags will have realistic sizes this time around. They kind of got a little inflated last time, which means that things like reload speed and stuff like that kind of diminished in value, and we didn't think that that really played right.
So what you're saying is I can't have 2,000 rounds.
I mean, not in not in an M4.
All right, I guess
Well,
I'll adapt.
yeah. No,
You know.
no more plus 100%.
We know
rounds.
I love LMGs with all the bullets, but hey,
Well, LMGs still have a lot of
They-
bullets.
as
Don't
they
worry about
should,
them. Don't
but-
worry about them.
okay, all right, I trust you.
Good.
Okay, good, yeah. So yeah, there's that touch of
A little bit of realism.
Realism.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's still an RPG, but you can be inspired by the realism of what would this type of handle do for your handling of the gun. What would a flash hider do in terms of like stability and stuff like that. So things that would slow down your bullets, going to give you less optimal range, for instance, and stuff like that.
I really get the feeling and the impression, at least at this stage in development, that the mods are going to be less about chasing, the perfect number,
yeah.
right? And more about chasing the playstyle you want.
Yeah, and then they're going to be about the personality of the guns. Like,
Mhm.
okay, this gun kicks a lot, and I'm happy with the damage, so I can go down a little bit on the damage and maybe
Yeah.
get some stability.
Mhm.
So it's about customizing your playstyle rather than just growing
Yeah.
in power.
I feel like that was sometimes a barrier to entry for some of our fans. That if
You had to know all of those
if you
things.
if you didn't speak spreadsheet, it could get difficult.
Mm.
And now this is a shotgun, and I know how I want it to feel.
Yeah, you can
right. And so I'm going to take the pros and cons with these mods, and
hopefully make an intuitive choice.
yes, the intuitiveness of
Yeah.
it is important.
I guess also someone would ask later, if I don't say it now, is that there's no magical DPS number going on.
And I think that's a huge thing too. I'm glad you brought it up. Is that
Yeah.
you're not just pushing that number.
No.
I
Right.
want DPS up,
Yeah.
plus up.
Right.
What we found is like it's really hard to make our ambition with the DPS was to make a simple number that you could rely on if you
Mhm.
didn't know much about guns and stuff like that. But the
Yeah.
problem is when you compare apples and oranges, when you compare a shotgun to a sniper rifle, and one has a little higher number and they pick that instead, it plays so differently
So
that they
different.
might not actually perform well. So it's better to just look at the thing, go, here's how much damage it does, here's how fast it fires, how big
Mhm.
its mag is, things that you can feel when you play the game,
Right.
Yeah.
and then you make the choice between them, right?
Yeah. Do I have potato aim or not?
Yeah.
You
So
know, exactly.
so that's gone.
I always have potato aim.
Yeah.
I do too.
That's
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
an issue.
Potatoes.
I have to say that I'm great at it because I do the guns, but I have potato aim.
Okay. Well, we should
Yeah.
start a clan called Potato.
Potato,
Mm,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or I love
Everybody's
potatoes.
free to join.
I'm up for that.
Yeah. Or like
You're saying we have clans?
I am.
Good.
We are on the deep dive for gear. We're going to confirm that we have clans. You knew that already, though. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
of course.
You've been watching all the stuff, right?
Mm.
So, yeah, French fries or maybe potatoes and salt,
just
salt, and
potato,
potatoes.
yeah.
Salt and potatoes.
Hmm?
That works.
Come on, because salt.
Cause
you know,
salty.
You
Yeah.
see
That,
that?
that sounds
See
great.
what I did there?
We have one question about
Yeah,
about the UI actually, or in the UI over
Yeah.
the grenades. What is that?
Ah,
What is that thing? Because I don't know.
Over the grenade.
Oh,
this little tombstone.
That's
yeah,
your armor kits.
that's armor kit.
Yeah.
I saw the questions about the plating before as well
Uh-huh.
in chat. What is that?
I mean, the way the armor works, if you look at when I'm out here and I bring up the thing, you have a little white bar. That's your armor. When that's gone, you gotta basically press and hold a button, and you pull out that plate, throw it on the ground, put in a fresh one.
Yeah.
So, gone are health kits, and instead you're exchanging your armor plates
Right.
for fresh ones.
That's why
Right.
it takes time and all that
Yeah,
business.
yeah, exactly.
That's had a great effect on gameplay, I think.
It has
Yeah.
actually, because it means you got to find that safe spot to
Yes.
do it, and then it means you gotta. There's a little bit of attrition where basically once you've taken a shot, that armor is gone,
Yeah.
and you don't regain it so fast. Makes it a little bit more tactical, as cliche as that might sound.
No, it's not cliche at all. I love the word tactical. Look at me behind you. I'm being tactical. I get my feet all
Also
kinds
slightly
of wet.
scary.
Wow.
Yeah, all
Wow.
kinds of wet.
I'm gonna fire my gun.
Okay, no friendly fire.
Hey,
confirmed.
take it easy. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah? Are we fighting now? Is that what we're doing?
Apparently. Yeah. So, any other questions that are popping up? Because I kind of
No,
feel like we covered
actually,
the bases.
We covered the bases. We actually have to wrap up now. We're
right.
we're
Cool. I got
going
to say everything I wanted to.
take a short little break, watch a
Cool.
little trailer while we mic up our next guest.
Can I watch the trailer too?
No.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you, Petter. We love you.
We love you. I love you too. Sorry, Hamish was talking to my ear, so
Is
it
he?
got
Yeah.
super confusing.
You
You're
got
looking at me and I'm hearing
really-
Hamish voice.
Predator stalling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stalling for time now. Do you have anything else you want to show before we wrap up?
Dude, so much that we want to show and talk about, but nothing that...
That you can talk and
Yeah.
show.
Well, nothing
Or-
that I can do this quickly, I think. So.
Yeah. I think people are going to love it. I hope this shed some light,
Yeah.
on some of the details that we can go into right now.
I mean, it sounds to me much more approachable while still having the kind of the depth that,
Oh, yes.
that veteran players will want
Yeah.
from a game.
The
like
spider web of gear, the depth of complexity is all going to be there, and it's going to be more accessible and intuitive, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's the goal.
yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming. It's
Yeah,
been
thank you.
fantastic. Always lovely to have you. Say that every time, but it is lovely.
Hopefully
It's
that's
good to
true.
be
to
here.
have you.
Yeah.
And I'll force both of you back. I'll fly him to Sweden. I have you
Yeah.
Okay.
in the same
There you